Hello, I'm Mrs. Charity. Welcome to the Glorious Heritage Overview of Catholic Church History. Discover the amazing story of the Church together as a family as you color and paste your way through the timeline and printables, which you can find on our website. And now, let's move into our topic for today.
Hello, I'm Mr. Charity, and welcome to the Glorious Heritage Catholic History video series. Today's topic is number 90. The Ottoman Turks. One of the greatest enemies of Catholics throughout the Church's long history was the Ottoman Turkish Empire. This Muslim empire brought down the powerful Byzantine Empire and threatened to even conquer Rome through much of the 15th and 16th centuries. Many mighty battles were fought by brave Catholic warriors to stop the Turks from overrunning Christendom. Who exactly are these Turks? Where did they come from? And what big events in history stopped them from taking over our holy city of Rome? The story of the Turks starts in the 11th century. In Central Asia, in a place called the Asian Steppes, there were vast areas of grassland with many wild horses. The Turks originally came from these grasslands, and because there were wild horses, the Turks learned how to be expert horsemen. They were famous for being able to shoot arrows while riding on their horses, which is not an easy thing to do. The Turks were originally pagans, worshipping many false gods. Then over time, they converted to the false religion of Islam, which made them much more hungry for conquest. The Turks spread eastwards towards the Byzantine Empire's lands. Then in 1071, the Turks won a great victory against the Byzantines and captured much of the heartland of the Byzantine Empire. The Pope at that time called the Crusades, partly in response to the Turks' victory over the Byzantines. The Crusaders defeated the Turks many times, but unfortunately, the Crusaders were not able to stay in the Holy Land permanently. So when they left, the Turks just rose up again, even stronger than before. By the 13 and 1400s, the Turks were invading many countries in Eastern Europe, like Albania, Greece, Hungary, and many others. The Turks were very cruel to the people they conquered. They would kidnap the oldest boy in each family and force them to become Muslims or put them to death. These boys then would be trained to be strong soldiers and then sent back to fight against their own Christian people. This horrible group of boys were called the Janissaries. Then in 1453, the Turks finally conquered the Byzantine capital city of Constantinople. From that point on, this ancient city had its name changed from Constantinople to Istanbul. Today, the Turks are still in charge of this city. In fact, the land of the Byzantines had also been renamed. Do you know what it's called today? It's called Turkey. Well, that makes sense. It's named after the Turks. After Constantinople fell to the Turks, they then decided they were not done conquering yet. They wanted to keep on going westwards toward the city of Rome. Then in the 14 and 1500s, the Turks learned how to be good sailors. They made many ships and put many soldiers on them, and then they sailed them all throughout the Mediterranean Ocean, fighting Catholic ships, stealing people for slaves, and stealing all their goods. They were pirates. What a horrible scourge and a plague the Turks were for Christians. They seemed like they were unstoppable. Christians throughout the world greatly feared these Turks. However, God sent a great pope to stand up to the Turks. In 1571, Pope St. Pius V gathered sailors, soldiers, and ships from Catholic kingdoms, and he brought them together in something called the Holy League. This Christian fleet met the Turkish fleet at the famous Battle of Lepanto. The Christians prayed the rosary and went to confession, praying for victory. Our Lady gave the Christian fleet a great victory on October 7th, which we still celebrate today as the Feast of the Holy Rosary. Here is Mrs. Charity to tell you about a poem written about the Battle of Lepanto.
Hello, I am Mrs. Charity. Christians were so happy and relieved when they defeated the Turks at the Battle of Lepanto in 1571. About 350 years later, a famous British Catholic named G.K. Chesterton wrote a poem about the Battle of Lepanto that has also become famous among Catholics. He wrote the poem in 1911, and it is still being recited today because it is such a great description of the battle and illustrates just how important it was and how it saved many Catholics who had become slaves of the Ottoman Turks. Mr. Charity will read some of it to you now.
Now let me read you some of that poem from G.K. Chesterton about the Battle of Lepanto. The part I will read will describe how Christians were slaves on Turkish ships, that they were set free by the Catholic hero Don Juan of Austria. So pay attention when you hear his name. Christian captives, sick and sunless, all a laboring race repines, like a race in sunken cities, like a nation in the mines. They are lost like slaves that swat, and in the skies of morning hung the stairways of the tallest gods when tyranny was young. They were countless, voiceless, hopeless, as those fallen or fleeing on before the high king's horses in the granite of Babylon. And many one grows witless in a quiet room in hell, where a yellow face looks inward through the lattice of his cell, and he finds his God forgotten, and he seeks no more a sign. But Don Juan of Austria has burst the battle line, Don Juan pounding from the slaughter-painted poop, purpling all the ocean like a bloody pirate sloop, scarlet running over on the silver and the golds, breaking of the hatches up and bursting of the holes, thronging of the thousands up the labor under sea, white for bliss and blind for sun and stunned for liberty. Viva Hispania, Domino Gloria, Don Juan Austria has set his people free. Well, this is a great poem, and I usually always cry when I hear it. Anyway, come back next time for our last video in the yellow time period. It's about Our Lady of Mount Carmel, St. Simon's stock in the scapular. I hope you enjoyed and learned something new today. Visit our website, www.gloriousheritagecartoons.com, where you can find more educational supplements, cartoons, books, and printables. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to get notified of our latest updates and videos. And if you like our work and want to support us, you can make a donation on our website or on Patreon. We really appreciate your generosity and kindness. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, and see you next time.